All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is to comment on the Arsenal loss to Man City. And if you're watching this expecting me to have said anything different to that sentence, power to you. You must be the biggest optimist in the world. But anyway, we are where we are. We've lost the game, and joining me today are two of my close friends on the show. Ola, say hello to the people, man.
Hello. I'm a little bit downbeaten, but it's an expected result. It is what it is. I was driving at 150 mile an hour just to get back, and my
Why
fucking
do you
bus that
admit
was,
these things on camera? Just so you know.
bro. No, who drives at 150 mile an hour? You know what I mean? My van is restricted. Put it like that. They've got restrictions on these vans, but you can't do them type of speeds. You know what I mean on commercial vans. But anyway, so I got to my work trying to debrief so I can get back up early so I can watch the match. And my boss, who's a Liverpool fan, is literally telling me, "Why are you so eager to go and watch your team lose?" He said, he said to me, "You'll be coming to me in the morning crying." And yeah,
All right.
I know you got to go to work tomorrow, man. It's gonna be dread. It's gonna be dread.
And also joining us today on the show is Sam. Say hello to the people, Sam.
Evening all, evening all.
Right, so let's just get into this. Ola, you've kind of done a brief assessment on terms of your journey to the game, but let's talk about the game itself, more to do with the beginning of the game and the starting lineup. Were you happy with the initial starting lineup?
I mean, I wasn't too surprised, considering who we had available. We've been struggling with having a full fit squad throughout the season. I mean, well, yeah, for a good portion of the season now, we've been struggling with selection. We've been struggling with fitness to players, and while we're getting certain players back, certain players are literally getting injured in the same game. It was just difficult, and I thought, you know what, Emery, for the team that he put out, is made the best of what he could have put out, but probably the only player that I probably would have played that was on the bench was Ramsey. I thought Ramsey should have started a game like this. Um, but on the whole, yeah, I was happy with the initial lineup. I didn't see a lot wrong with it considering what was available. So um, it's the best of what he had available, uh,
Mm.
especially with the formation and the style that he wanted to go with. I mean, he went with the 4-4-2 to start with, but clearly all that went into all that plan went into pop within the first minute. But I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think just to give a brief assessment before we come over to Sam, I actually thought the starting lineup what was more or less as expected. The only thing that surprised me a little bit was the fact that Lichtsteiner was there. Surely Carl Jenkinson can't be injured. Surely it's an improvement on Lichtsteiner. But aside from that, I thought the team was kind of more or less as expected. I didn't think Ozil would have made a difference today. It was just that type of game that I think Ozil would have got lost in today's game. And yeah, not really a lot else I could say. Sam, now I know you are very active on Twitter, very active on Twitter today, especially throughout the game. What was your assessment of the starting lineup and kind of the start of the game?
I'll be honest with you. I was pretty confused, to be honest, with the starting lineup. I was like, I'm not sure what formation it was. I couldn't work out who was playing where, what we were going to do, why we were playing two attackers with what I would consider no real creative midfielders.
Yeah,
I just thought it was really confusing. It almost looked like it had sort of eight players outfield, to work hard, to nullify the space, and then hopefully let Aubameyang and sort of Lacazette just do their thing and sort of do something magical and win us the game. But we just know the players that we put out are not good enough to beat that side today. We started off absolutely fucking dreadfully. 50 seconds were 1-0 down. The first 10 minutes I was head in hands thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a 6-0, 5-0, 8-2, absolute pummeling as our previous manager sort of. But we sort of got back into it a little bit, but it was just, I don't know, it was really, I thought for the first time in a long time, I was quite confident going into the game today. I thought, do you know what? I think we could possibly do this. And then we started off poorly, the team formation when it come out, and I just thought, my whole sort of attitude and complexion changed, which is why I was quite, how should we put it, opinionated, shall we say, on a few things during the game. But I'm obviously quite an emotional person. I think it's an emotional sport. People say some things sometimes in the heat of the moment that they don't actually mean in the long term. But the fact of the matter is, we ain't good enough. We're not good enough. We're nowhere near that level. Players that we've got, so many of them players today are just not good enough. And yeah, I'm disappointed, mate. Really, really, really disappointed today. Really disappointed.
Yeah. For me, to kind of add to, I suppose what Sam said. Other than the starting lineup, I thought. There's no other way of shading this. Iwobi's mistake was horrendous. It was horrendous, and people on the show, I think, have got me twisted because I got into one argument with some idiot on Twitter. I'm going to call him an idiot. I'm sorry. He's an idiot. Because here's the thing: if you know me on the show, you would have heard me say plenty of times, listen, I think Iwobi has something, but I don't think he's going to succeed at Arsenal. I have constantly said that. I've constantly said that. For some stupid reason, unless you agree wholeheartedly with other people on Twitter, apparently you're a fanboy of that person, right? And this person came up to me. I was minding my own business. I purposely didn't defend Iwobi today. I didn't think it was a very good performance. I didn't think it was quite as terrible as people were making out, but it was by no means good, right? I actually thought after the mistake, he did a couple of things that were quite good, but I thought overall the performance wasn't good, right? And then for some reason, I'm going to call him out. So I don't normally call people out, but I just thought to myself, this motherfucker needs to start learning some manners, right? This Smith, Mahita AFC, I called you out, I don't know, right? This guy all of a sudden decided to come towards me and then go, oh, well, I want to see how you justify that Iwobi is Arsenal quality. People, if you listen to me and my show, have I ever once said Iwobi is Arsenal quality? Please, if I have, meme it, gif it, please disgrace me. Because you will never catch that clip. That has never happened. All that I've tried to say is that I think the kid is young. Maybe he can develop into something. But my bar has always been that I think he has something. It's just I don't think he'll succeed at Arsenal. I have maintained that consistency throughout. And today was a poor performance by him. No doubt. That mistake was horrendous. If Xhaka had made that mistake, I'd also be saying the same thing. Xhaka is capable of making that mistake as well. But one thing I'll also say is usually when Iwobi makes a mistake, it isn't in our area. Normally, he's making a mistake higher up in the field that will allow us to kind of recover back. Today was just a horrendous error that put us on our back foot from the very get-go. But the one thing I'll also say is, if Iwobi hadn't made that mistake, do you think we would have won the game? Come the fuck on. Let's calm down, people. Coming at me like you're about this life. You ain't about this life. You're not about this life. Don't take kindness for weakness. I'm prepared to be reasonable.
Well, he reckons you're a big soft teddy bear, bro.
I know, bro. Because Chiz is polite, I'm going to come to him any old way on Twitter. Bro, you're not about that. Don't do that. Honestly, straight up, don't do that. Anyway, that's my little rant over with. Notice, I said I wasn't going to rant about the players if they lost, but I'll rant about dickheads that come up to me on Twitter. I ain't got no problem with that. So, anyway, that's the last time I'll rant, I promise.
So, on with the show.
Right. Let's get on with the show. So, in terms of how the first half played out after we conceded the goal, Ola, how do you think we responded after we conceded the goal?
I mean, we got right back into the game, like you said earlier on. I mean, the whole game plan seemed to have thrown itself out of the window as soon as Iwobi made that mistake just on the edge of the box. It led directly to a goal. Again, there's been a lot of individual errors that's led directly to a goal this season by lots of players, and you could see a lot of it. To me, is down to concentration. It's down to concentration. Using common sense. Common sense is a big part of this thing as well, because you could be on the pitch, but you gotta learn how to solve problems before the ball comes to you. Have a picture of the pitch. When you get the ball, know what to do with it, and if in doubt, the very first thing that you get taught, even in basic football, Sunday football, put the ball out of touch, and get your team back in shape. That's the first thing you do, but Iwobi was just loitering on the ball. He got the ball snatched out of him, and the next thing you know, we're picking the ball out of our net. But I thought, you know what? We go again, which we did. And Koscielny got us back into the game. It was, if you look, we've been scoring quite a fair amount of goals from set pieces as well, which is something that Arsenal really ain't been doing. Them goals that were scored against Chelsea, both of them off of set pieces. One from the one against Cardiff, against set pieces. So we'll be scoring goals from set pieces. It's just keeping the ball out of the back of our net. And when three of our first choice defenders is nowhere to be seen in Rob Holding, in Bellerin, in not Kolasinac, in what's that Greek, the rock in the middle? What's his name? Anyway, I lost my friend. Yeah, centre back. The Greek guy. Back. Yeah, the Greek guy. Not Vabraponas, the other one.
What, Socrates?
Socrates, that's the one. Pardon me, people. Sorry, my guys. I just lost my train of thought there. But yeah, when we've lost all those guys, losing those guys, I mean, you take any team in the top six, losing three of their first choice defenders and set them against Manchester City, especially after they've been pissed off by Newcastle the week before, because we were already done for from when they lost to Newcastle last week. We knew Man City was going to bring their A game. We knew it. So everybody was kind of braced for the result that we had today. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Let's be real. Let's keep it a buck.
You know what's really telling? That the fan base are relieved it was only 3-1.
Yes. I was glad it was 3-1, because I thought to myself, I mean, I didn't want to get pummeled or 6-7, 8-0 or bending over to Man City. We were going to need WD-40s, lubes, everything for the way Man City was going to come at us today, man. So the way that and a big part of that was down to Leno. Let's keep it 100. A big part of that scoreline being that was Leno, because we didn't have a shot in the second half, and we were conceding shots, conceding chances after chances in the second half. And yeah, Karen said in the chat, big up Karen Russell, big friend of the show. She said, Can someone explain why Iwobi was good earlier in the season, but now he's turned into the Iwobi of Wenger era?
It's a very worthwhile question.
I thought to myself, a lot of it is down to system, personnel, and confidence. And once everything, because everything has to align to get the team firing on all cylinders.
Plus, I've
Because
said it before, Iwobi can't play on the right-hand side.
he can't play on the right. He can't
Every
play.
time he plays on the right-hand side, it is a shit game he has.
It was part of the system, but at the same time, you still gotta go out there and do the basics. You still gotta go out there and earn the right to play. You still gotta go out there and play as a professional footballer. And in my opinion, it didn't really do any of that today. And that's with a lot of other players that we had on the pitch. So in my eyes, poor display, but the results is the results. We dust ourselves off and move on.
Yeah. Sam, what about you? How do you see the first half played out? And yeah, like in terms of how we reacted initially, at least to getting the goal. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it at the start. I think we started off absolutely dreadfully, and I was thinking, God, this could be anything. We got ourselves back into the game. Thought we started to play a bit well. Started to play a little bit better. Started knocking the ball about. Came into the game. I almost thought as if at one point we'd slowed the game down slightly around.
Yeah, me too.
Sort of 25 to 35 minutes. We were taking the time. So really knocked them off their rhythm. They're really, and they need to be played. They need football to be played at a high pace, and I thought that really knocks them. But individual mistakes again at the back. We are, whether you want to believe it or not, we're sort of 3 or 4 of our what I would class sort of starting, or knocking on the door of starting defenders. Bellerin, Holding, Socrates. We're definitely missing a left back. We need to buy a left back in the summer. I think that's apparent because the 2 that we've got at the minute aren't good enough, nowhere near. But yeah, we made that error and gifted them the second goal, and our heads just went down after that. To be honest, it was almost that we're not going to come back into it now. They've scored their second, tails up right before. I was, before they scored, I was thinking, let's just get to half time. Let's just, get over this little hurdle, regroup, maybe make a few changes, 10, 15 minutes into the second half, freshen it up a bit, and we'll go again, But it's just the same old, isn't it? It's the same players making the same mistakes, not learning from the mistakes, not sort of, like you said, Iwobi, never in a million years can he play right wing. He is a left-hand attacking midfield player or behind the front 2. He just wasn't there. We just couldn't get anyone into the game. And yeah, overall, poor, really, to be fair. Poor.
I got a theory on why it will be probably played on the right today. And I think that's because Lichtsteiner was going to play on that side. And Emery probably figured Aubameyang was never going to give him any help on that side of the pitch. And Kolasinac will have Monreal to look after each other on the other side. And I think that might be the reason why he might have played it would be on the right-hand side, just to give Lichtsteiner that bit of support. But obviously, it clearly didn't work. I think Lichtsteiner was so bad today, and obviously you could see he dragged the Iwobi into whatever hellfire that he was gonna drag himself into today. And yeah, they both ended up burning into ashes. Sterling had acres of space, acres. I mean, the way Sterling kept getting free on that right hand side, it was just ridiculous. But yeah, when you don't do your defensive jobs properly, this is what happens.
Yeah, I totally agree. But why would you play? Why would you play Lichtsteiner if you know he's poor and you play a bad man? You play your best team for that game, or you play a formation that you think is going to work. If you know that they're quite strong with Sterling down the left, why do you bother playing a 35-year-old?
I mean, Sterling would have been licking his lips when he saw Lichtsteiner on the team sheet.
Who's going to work hard, but he's not going to offer much attacking in the attacking third. It was a real strange formation today. To be honest, it still confused me now.
I agree with you.
I'm just glad that we
and if you look,
been a lot worse. Like Leno.
You there, Sam?
In it, to be honest, yeah.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. Leno kept us in it. He kept the score line down. He kept it respectable. And if you look at the weapons that Man City had at their disposal, I mean, they played Sterling where Sane would usually play. Can you imagine Sane on League Steiner today? I mean, I thought Pep actually showed us a little mercy today, not bringing up Sane, not, you know what I mean? He brought on Mahrez towards the end. Sane didn't even get off the bench. I mean, they got embarrassment of riches, and this is what this team is levels. They are levels above us, and people can curse, and I don't want to curse today for the sake of it, because this is a team that's levels above us. We all know that. You can see the investment that they put into the team. They got the best manager in the world. Yes, some people might say Palace beat them. Why can't we beat them? Newcastle beat them. Why can't we beat them? The difference is those guys play a certain kind of football that we don't play. We don't play that type of football. That's number one. Number two, they got their first team players to suit the system that they play. We don't have our first 11 best players to suit the system that the manager wants to play. So it's always having to do a makeshift sort of formation for a makeshift team. And when you're doing that against the best teams in the league, I mean, it's a recipe for defeat all the time. That game that we played today, we could play that game 10 times, and I still don't see us winning one of them. That's literally how the game looked today. I couldn't see us winning that game even if we played it 10 times. You're on mute.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry. Ultimately, it comes down to one thing, and that is that we're not good enough. We're not good enough. It's as simple as that. At some point, you just have to just accept it, that, you know, as much as we want to see Arsenal up there, we aren't good enough. And until we are able to get the investment into this team, you know, regardless of what people want to say about financial fair play. And I saw Oliver Forway, shout out to Oliver because I know he's a friend of the show, who sent a tweet out today saying that, you know, that Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV was pissing him off because all he wants is defenders, but doesn't he understand about financial fair play? And yeah, that's all well and good, but you're acting like this is a owner that has a history of buying the things that we need. He doesn't. He doesn't. For me, I hate this idea that Stan is getting off scot-free because of the previous regime. The previous regime, 100% are at fault for a lot of things. But who worked? They worked under one man, the previous regime. And that is our current owner. The man who will be in America, probably was unaware we lost today because of the Super Bowl that's on today. And that's his priority. The LA Rams is his priority. This team we need to be up to a level just to make a top four, not to talk of a title challenging team. Liverpool and City, and it pains me because you guys know my beef with Liverpool. It pains me to admit it, but Liverpool are levels above us. City are levels above us. As much as I like laughing at United, let's be real here. United will probably secure third. Let's be honest here. They'll probably go on and secure third, and at the moment, they're playing levels above us. We are just trying to hope that we're trying to get our running together, and maybe, just maybe, we might be able to scrape enough points to get over the line, or at least close to the damn line. But I don't know. The only thing I'll say is that running-wise, our two trickiest games is Tottenham away and United at home.
Yeah, we've played all the hardest teams out of the way. So I mean, all the hard teams, they're out of the way now. We only got United and Spurs to go. So there's 14 games left in the season. So out of the 14 games, 12 of those, really, we should be looking at maybe 9 wins out of that 12, maybe 3 draws. And even if we draw in the United and the Tottenham game, I still think that's because we took points off for Tottenham at the start of the season, and we took points off for United at the earlier part of the season as well, which we drew with them. So I still think, the top 4 is still there. It's still there to be got at. Obviously, today is a downbeat result. Today is a downbeat result, but at the same time, shout out to Dan S in the chat. He said, accept the reality and trust the process. And that's what
100%.
That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. Shout
Do you
out
know
to Dan
what?
S in the chat. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Dan, because I'm going to make that the title of the show. I'm going to change the title of the show to that. Yeah. Accept the reality and trust the process.
And trust the process. Shout out to Dan. That was a big one there from Dan still. So
yeah, I like that.
That's what we have to do.
I like that. That's a better title than the one I got. Damn it. Okay, I can see Sam has temporarily left us.
I think there's something wrong with his net.
Yeah, I'm going to investigate that. Yeah, for me, what do you think about Lichtsteiner as a player? Because I must admit, I'm not sure how he's getting back into the team. For me, I think Carl Jenkinson was unlucky to miss today's game.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he would have fared necessarily any better.
I think there would have been a bit more athleticism and a bit more tracking with Jenkinson than what Lichtsteiner did today. And I say that because Jenkinson, okay, for all his flaws, for all his whatever he can do that to make the team. For me, I still think him being a fan, he probably would have put a lot more on the line today than what Lichtsteiner did. Lichtsteiner was lost in that game. He was so lost. And as bad as Iwobi played as well in the first half, he still tried to help him. He still tried to double up and try and help him. But, I mean, if you look at the second goal we conceded today, Sterling received the ball. It was in acres of space. Then he had a damn time and audacity to do a 1-2 with Gundogan. And still no Lichtsteiner. The warning shot was the first time Sterling got the ball. That was the warning shot. He's letting you know, I'm here in space, tackle me. So the man he had time to give the ball back to Gundogan and make a run off the shoulder of Lichtsteiner. Lichtsteiner didn't track him back, and the rest was history. You could see how easy it was for Aguero to get a tap-in. 3 easy tap-ins for Aguero today. I wouldn't call the third one a tap-in, but a goal is a goal is a goal. If we had one of those, I'd be jumping for joy. If what Aguero scored brought it back to 2-2. So I'm not going to knock it. The ref didn't see it. It's some of the things that VAR is going to clear at this point. But look, it counts. We move on. On the whole, the way they played, Emery already said it in his post-match conference. They changed levels they changed gears and switched their gears into higher gears while we were dropping gears. We were dropping our level. We dropped our concentration. Fatigue set in. There was a whole lot of car crash decisions that just happened all over the pitch, and ultimately, we lost the game, and it's just poor. What can you do?
Sam, what's your opinion on Lichtsteiner?
Poor. His legs are gone. I think we took a bit of a gamble on him when we signed him. I think it was more of a need, because I think everyone knew we needed a right back. He was available on a free. on a 1-year deal. We took a bit of a gamble. We thought he might still be able to cut it, but this league is different to the Italian league. It's fast-paced, it's quick, it's movement, it's not about tactical. And I think he's really struggled. He's probably a good player, and he's probably a really good voice in the dressing room for some of the younger lads. He's obviously a proven winner. He's bloody won everything at Juve. I just think he's just not quick enough for the league. And I think once you get over a certain age in the Premier League and you lose that half a yard of pace, I genuinely, don't think there's any way you can come back from it, because it's just such a quick league that we operate in.
Ola, we've suffered another injury, and that is Quadrado Mustafi. The defense was never good when everyone is there. Another person. We're suffering.
Surprise.
We're really suffering badly. What do you think is the answer to this problem?
Well, the window can save us now.
Yeah.
Because I watched some of your transfer window programs that you done during when the window was open. And some of the players that you wanted us to reinforce as well was in the defensive department. And you see, this is where it's difficult to judge Emery, because you can't judge him, because every single time that he looks to take a step forward with a player, it takes 2 steps back, with injuries taking the players that is nursed back to health. So it's so difficult to judge Emery, because he's not really playing the true players that can actually play the system that he wants to put forward. And it's difficult. It's difficult at this point in time. At this point, we'll probably be looking to play Aubameyang and Lacazette in centre-back position, because that seems to be where the area of injury keeps coming. We don't really suffer injuries towards the upper side of the pitch. Well, I'm not touch wood, so I don't jinx it now. People start dropping like flies up top, but the bit where we've had problems has been defensively, and to me, we got no chance, except we keep outscoring teams to try and get to the top 4. And I think Emery has thought about it. I think he's already rolled the dice when the window shut, and he only took Suarez in and said, you know what, fuck it. He's looked at the fixtures we got. Okay, maybe after City today is a free hit. We got United and Tottenham. So the rest of the season, let's just go and outscore everyone. And everybody that listened to him right from the first day when he walked through the door, he said, I'd rather win a game 5-4 than 1-0. So when this guy came in, this is what he said, and it might be that he'll have to prove that side of his philosophy going through the rest of the season now, because we're not gonna fucking beat all these teams keeping clean sheets. We've not done it all season, so there's nothing that convinces me now that we're gonna go and do it for the rest of the season. So, in my opinion, I think he's rolled the dice on going to outscore teams, and City wasn't the team to do it against. They were pissed off from last season, from losing to Newcastle. I mean, from last week, from losing to Newcastle. The exceptional team, they got exceptional investment on them. Today was a free hit, but let's look towards the rest of the season. And we've got Huddersfield coming up next. We've got Batter Borislav. So these are games that we can go and just go and batter all these little teams and take points from them. And that's what I'm looking forward to now.
I think you're right. I think for me, it's pretty obvious now that our season starts now.
Yeah,
it starts right now. So for me, we just got to just keep our head down, not start worrying about targets. It's just about winning as many games as possible. Just look at each game on its own merit, try and win it.
I mean, if you look at our goals scored, we're not bad. We've scored the 3rd highest goal in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Aside City and Liverpool, it's the defense that keeps fucking us up.
Yeah. Yeah, but our defense our goal scoring ability has never been bad. Even under the previous manager, it was never bad. Our defense has always been terrible. That's the issue. Sam, what are your feelings in terms of the fixtures going forward?
It looks like we've got a pretty easy running, really. To be fair, I think I saw something earlier. I think I sort of like the next the game that I thought, bloody hell, I said the next tough game we've got is like Tottenham away, and that's sort of like, is that like the end of March or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Fixtures now.
That's what I'm saying. So you're talking, what, is that 10? It must be 10, 12, 15 games maybe. It's a lot of games that, you know, on paper, we should be confident about winning. I mean, I've just read what Emery said in his press conference, saying that the players knew that they weren't good enough. And they knew they weren't. So he didn't say they weren't going to win, but he knew that they were better than us. We had to set up in a different way. So, you know, he's, you know, has he laid a marker out to the owners about investing, or has he laid it out to the, you know, some of them who genuinely don't think that they're good enough? Because belief and confidence in football, I've always said it, is about 60 to 70% of football.
Sam, isn't it refreshing? Is honesty. Isn't his honesty refreshing? The way he's just honest about everything, just transparent.
It is. And do you know what? Let's be honest. If you look at the side today, our two best players weren't brought in by the previous manager. The two best performing players, Guendouzi and Torreira, were brought in under the new regime. Now, whether that's coincidence or whether that was just the way, you know, how they performed today, I don't know. But it just, you know, confidence is such a big thing in football. If you don't believe in anything, if you don't believe in yourself, your teammates, your manager, your club, you're never going to achieve anything. You've got to really, really believe. And, you know, that's what I said to you, like, they've gone out there today and they got back to 1-1. As soon as they scored that second goal, I knew we weren't going to win. It was a very, it was inevitable. So that just proves that they knew that they weren't going to win today. And it's just, you know, it is good to hear a manager say that. And that's what you want, honesty, because we know we're not good enough. We can admit it. And the club need to admit it. And the only way you move forward is if your manager says you're not good enough. You know, the players realise that they've got to either improve or be moved on, or bring players in that are good enough. So it is good to hear. I think it's great. We're finally moving. I feel like we're finally moving forward.
Yeah. And you've probably noticed we've had another guest that's joined us. Hasn't been around for a little while.
Colin,
a little while's understating it, Chig. It's been months.
He's back in the building.
It's been a minute, isn't it?
Colin, I hope you left your life at home, you know, Colin. I hope you left your life at home.
Hey, bro, we good. We good. Anyway,
all right.
So troubles arrived. So, Colin, let me know what your thoughts were about today's show. Oh, today's game.
Well, I felt Emery got his tactics right for the most part. But what we have to realise is Man City are just levels above us. It's the sad fact. You know what I mean? Emery's tactics, for me, didn't cost us. It was individual errors that cost us more. And that, to me, is where the blame should lie more at the players. And I've seen a lot of talk on social media and stuff, like blaming Emery for the result. What do you want him to do? The man's not a magician. You know what I mean? He can't snap his fingers and turn Lichtsteiner back into his prime now, can he? You know what I mean? It's not his fault that Lichtsteiner and Iwobi went missing completely. Like, what do you want him to do? It's not like he says to the players, oh, by the way, if you go missing, it's all right. Nah. I can guarantee you he's not saying that. And you know what? His hands are tied a little bit because the wages, I said this in the summer, the wages that this club has hold us back. Ozil, 350 grand a week. I know he didn't play today, right? But again, why is he on our wage bill if he's not playing? Ramsey, he's going as well. We'll free up the wage book in the summer. I'm not concerned about what's going on, with Kroenke and whatnot. All right, that doesn't concern me in the slightest. Today really showed the golfing quality. That's all there is to it. No more, no less.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so moving forward, let's try and be positive. We all knew we'll lose this game. This isn't a surprise to anybody. No. Let's just put this in the bin and think ahead to Huddersfield. So we've got a week now between, well, I say a week, 6 days between now and Huddersfield. What can we do going forward? Because as I said about 10 minutes ago, our season really has to start now. Like, it has to start now. We've got all, barring the Spurs game, we've got all of the difficult away games out of the way. So now we just need to just go on a run and do this thing. Colin, do you think we can go on that run?
Yeah, I do. We've got the quality in the side. We've got, with these lower teams, right? Because I watched the Chelsea game on Saturday, right? And if Chelsea, who got 4 put past them by Bournemouth, can put 5 past Huddersfield, I think we'll be all right. All right? We've got too much quality to not go on a run. All we can do is keep winning our games and capitalize on rival fuck-ups along the way. That's all we can do. If we do that, then we'll be fine. And I honestly believe that we'll get top 4. I've said that since day one, and I still believe that now.
Okay. And by the way, the person I was bitching at on Twitter has humbly apologized. So I should
big meta, man. He fucks with me heavy still. He did say
I should equally be humble enough to accept that apology.
How anyone could have a go at you, Chig, I've got no idea. You've always been fair in your assessments anyway.
That's what I think, but people do try it.
Boy, people need to see Colin. If you want to have a go at somebody in the chat, yeah, get a Colin, man.
Hey, have a go at me.
Get a Colin.
Just know, lads, yeah. Right. You give it to me, you get it back. So there you go.
Like Paris says, it takes a big man to apologize. So credit where credit's due.
Yeah, man. Big up street meta, man.
Sam, let me get your opinion on this. Mr. Mesut Ozil. Now, whether we like it or not, he's going to have to be key to this run, isn't he? What do you think?
I don't know, mate. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think the manager fancies him. I think if we play Thursdays and Sundays for the next few weeks, I think he will play in the Europa League games. Can't see him playing in the Premier League. Again, I think I almost think it comes down to the league's just a little bit too quick for him. It's too paced. People are on him. He doesn't get much space. He doesn't help himself. He doesn't help himself at the best of times anyway. But I can see him. I can see him playing Europa League games with. Believe it or not, I think Aaron Ramsey will start the vast majority of these Europa League games as well.
Yeah, Emery is trying not to rely on Ramsey too much, given the fact that, and I can understand that, given the fact that he's going at the end of the season, so there's no point trying to develop a team around a player who is effectively leaving. But with Ozil, I think he's off in the summer, but until then, we're paying this guy a lot of money. He is supposedly one of our best players. we need him for, even if it is the Europa League. Heck, we might need that safety net to get in the Champions League. So the way I see it is, fine, no problem. Be a Europa League player.
I think we've got to get rid of him, Chig, in the summer, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
As well, you know, I think at the moment, you know, he plays for Arsenal Football Club. He'll play the games needed for us, but I think in the summer we've got to make a big decision whether we pay off half his contract and get rid of him, or, you know, give him on a free. I don't know what it'll be, but he's got to go. The manager clearly doesn't fancy him. Clearly doesn't sort of rate him, and it's clear from a, you know, business and financial point of view, he's a massive burden on the club, and we can't move forward paying, you know, one player £18 million a year. You could probably get 3 players of better quality than him. You know, just taking that guy from Lille, is he from Ivory Coast? What's his?
Yeah, the Pepe.
Pepe. You know, give him $100,000 a week. I'm sure he'll come and play for us on a 5-year deal. Absolutely no danger.
I bet he'll break a neck.
Yeah,
probably will.
Yeah, put in a lot of effort. I agree.
Yeah, he will. I mean, I don't watch much national football. I only watch Premier League and a bit of Scottish football from time to time. But, you know, the clips I've seen of him, he looks like a real player. And if that's the type of player that we're aiming for, you know, we've been wanting to get him. That's the type of player that fits into Emery's sort of formation and tactics. You know, hard-working, fast, gets forward, scores goals, assists. Ozil just doesn't do that. You know, he's not that type of pressing player. Yes, he assists, and, you know, he is a fantastically gifted footballer, but he just doesn't work hard enough, and the manager doesn't fancy him. So, yeah, as I said, you know, at the end of the day, rightly or wrongly, I think he's got to go.
I think it's a case as well that number 10s are going out of the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, Emery goes in the summer, or Ozil does, as far as I can see, because you can't have both of them. You just can't go on. He's not good for the club. He's not good for anyone.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree with you, Colin. I also think number 10s they're just out of fashion.
Check the perfect number 10, right? Is David Silva, because he's box to box. That's what a number 10 is now. Yeah. Box to box, who gives everything for the cause. With Mesut Ozil, right? And for me, Emery sussed him out from game one. He publicly criticised him after the Man City game at the start of the season, saying he's not working hard enough, right? We then go to Chelsea, and then he hooks him off at halftime. To me, that's very telling.
Yeah,
that's very telling. He's had Ozil sussed out from game one. And truthfully, I blame the old regime for giving him 350 grand a week in the first place.
Do you know what?
To me, he was never worth that. Not even a little bit. And the funny thing is, with Mesut Ozil, Emery likes his number 10s to sort of drop back deep into centre midfield, like Banega did with Sevilla, for example. Does Mesut Ozil strike you as the kind of player that will do that?
I mean, that's the type of players that, if you look right through the top 6, you can see people like you said earlier on, with people like David Silva, people like Eriksen, people like Pogba. They all play in and around, all up and down that midfield. It's like a box-to-box thing now. It's not just sitting behind 2 strikers looking for line-breaking passes anymore. It's all about line-breaking passes from deep. Yeah, the goal that Rashford scored against Spurs, that sort of pass, that where you can put it in from deep, or you can run forward, break the lines, drop the passes in, killer passes, and still be able to put in the hard work that's required. I mean, everybody probably overlooked this earlier on when, in the midst of trying to murder Iwobi, he done a tackle earlier on in the game where he dispossessed somebody, gave it to Lacazette, and Lacazette sent this beautiful ball. Ederson had to rush out of his goal. He sent it to Aubameyang. Ederson had to rush out of his goal to meet that ball. Aubameyang got to that ball. I reckon it's 2-2. And this was at the point where we were chasing the game. So I think this is why we keep seeing a lot more of Iwobi, because he trusts him. He trusts him to put in the hard work. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes. Yeah, there's mistakes in a lot of the other players in the team. And that's probably why Shaka plays a lot of the time as well, because he trusts these guys to at least, whether they make mistakes or not, to still put the hard work that's required into the team. Look, 3 or 4 of our players are probably the best players that we got going on in the squad. And I'm talking Torreira, Lacazette, or Aubameyang. And probably on a very, very good day, Socrates. So we've got very, very good 4 players there, right? The rest of the players, to me, in my eyes, the average. And shout out to PH. He said earlier on.
I'd put Guendouzi in a potential.
But
how good was he today? Jesus.
The only reason Guendouzi is getting that much game time at the moment is because we still look when people like El Nene, Ramsey, all these guys leave the midfield and we bring in a proper midfield. You telling me Guendouzi is going to get anything?
Right, my man's 19, fam.
Nah, never going to get in the first team, man.
He's not going to get in the first team once we do the proper business we're going to do in the summer. I don't think he's in the team.
Yeah,
I would say there's time, but to say that you're writing him off, personally,
I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying right now.
Spoiler, because I know I'm going to do my player review tomorrow, my player ratings tomorrow. He was our best player today with Guendouzi.
Do you know what Guendouzi reminded me of, Check, right? Remind that game 4 years ago against Man City when Coquelin and Cazorla bossed the midfield. That's what I felt Torreira and Guendouzi were doing.
Yeah, I thought.
He made exactly the same mistake that Iwobi made earlier on. That he made earlier in the game. He made exactly the same mistake. He just a bit upper, a bit further up the pitch. I think it was Fernandinho that dispossessed him because he carried the ball, ran through halfway line, carried on running along the line, and then he just dwindled all the ball, didn't do nothing with it. He got shrugged off the ball, looked at the ref didn't give nothing, and they just ran towards our goal and counter attack on us. And these are the things that he still needs to cut out of his game. There's still a lot for it. There's a long way for him to go. But because we don't have specialized players there at this moment in time that the manager trusts, that's why Guendouzi is still getting that much game time. And I think, in years to come, he's the future of our team. He's the future of our team. But right now,
I wouldn't call him average.
I think he's got a long way to go. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I like him as a player. And like you said, he's 19. He's 19. He's still got a lot to learn. The same way I look at Maitland Niles, and I still think, as good as you are, sometimes you show a bit of naivety, and that's just down to the age.
So it's the whole team, though. You can make that argument about the whole team.
With Maitland Niles, it's a little bit different, only due to the fact that
he plays out of position.
He had one opportunity to play his position, and surprise, surprise, he was man of the match. I don't know why we've never, ever given him an opportunity since then in his position. He's clearly a central midfielder.
Because there's people that's better than him in that position in the team.
Yeah.
And
his best performances have come through wing anyway.
Are you telling me Granit Xhaka's better than him there? Honestly.
Check, I'll tell you why Granit Xhaka gets in the team, right? The reason why is because out of all the midfielders we have, outside of Granit Xhaka, we don't have a ball carrier. That's why. Not because of, because he's better than any other midfielder we've got. Xhaka's at least 3 or 4 down the list as well. So for me, the only reason why he's getting in the team is because he's that ball carrier in midfield.
I want you guys to know the chat room heavily agrees with me about Guendouzi, but right now.
I'm not.
I want you both to know this right now.
No, seriously, I'm not killing off Guendouzi. I thought it was good today. I'm just saying, while I can see what he's doing and what he's trying to do for the team, I still see a lot of holes in his game. There's no one that can say Guendouzi doesn't have big holes in his game, because there's holes in his game. And the Premier League can see it, and so they're sussing it out.
And don't get me wrong, I agree with what Colin's saying to an extent. I wouldn't necessarily call Xhaka a ball carrier, but one thing I will say is he is very good at being able to start transitions of play.
Yes.
In doing that, he's going to make mistakes. To be honest, he's not too dissimilar from Iwobi in that respect, in the sense that they both do different jobs, but their jobs require them to take risk. So because they take risks, they make mistakes, i.e. today, i.e. all season with fucking Granit Xhaka. So I can see what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. It's just that for me, I think in the last 2 games with Guendouzi, I think the last game he played against Cardiff, he was fantastic. Today, he was the only player that looked like he was, other than Torreira, to be fair, and Lacazette, because Lacazette was working quite hard off the ball. That looked like they were trying. Just try a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we'll agree on this one. All right. So let me, as we kind of move towards the close, let me get all your opinions on this. And that is Jermaine in the chat room asked a really good question. And I really want to get your opinion on this because I know when we finish this and all of us eventually make our way back to Twitter, there'll be all this Emery out nonsense, right? Now, in all of your opinions, how long do you see Emery in this role? Like, how long would you give Emery? Is Emery a stopgap manager? Is he a long-term manager? And if he is a long-term manager, how long would you give him to achieve what he wants to?
First of all, he is a long-term manager.
Okay.
And I'd give him at least 3 summer windows. And I'm not talking January windows, right? Because let's be real, you're not going to get the players that you want in January, right? Last season was with Aubameyang, that fell in our lap. Literally. I honestly feel that Aubameyang was leaving Dortmund anyway. Whether or not we pursued that or some other club came in or didn't come in that instance, it's irrelevant. Aubameyang was leaving anyway. When you look at it as a whole, you're not going to get the players you ideally want. So I think 3 summer windows is how you judge it. I do think Emery will get the balance right over time. That said, he is human. He's going to make mistakes. He has done. So we just have to be patient with him. You know what I mean? And if by the 3rd summer window we're not seeing improvement from now, then, or to put it better, if by the 3rd summer window, he's still not getting backed by the board, then we know what the problem is. But there's more contributing factors at fault than just the manager. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think Kroenke is to blame for the position that we're in now, because all that's down to FFP. Said it from day one.
Okay. Some interesting comments in the chat room, particularly from Dan. Ola, what do you think? Same question. How long do you give this manager?
I mean, he's on a 2-year contract at the moment, which is surprising. I thought he came in, maybe he had a few more years on his contract, like a 3 or 4 year contract, but it turned out that he's only got 2-year contract.
Could I interrupt for a second? This is the one thing I agree with Stan Kroenke on. I like the fact he's giving him a 2-year contract because I think if something goes wrong, then you don't want a previous manager situation. You just want to deal with it and then move on.
You don't want a David Moyes situation like at Man United either.
Exactly. I'm all for backing the manager and showing faith, but also at the same time, you have to be pragmatic with these things and think to yourself, all right, if it is going wrong, we need to deal with it quickly without money being too much of a factor. But sorry, go on, shoot, Ola.
Yeah, so, I mean, how long do I give him? I think he deserves to see out his 2 years with investment, because there's no point throwing him out after 2 years if he doesn't get backed in any of the windows. So the first window he's had, he had 50 million to spend. The second window he had no money. He had to go and beg the whole of Europe for players that they were never going to give him. He didn't even go, he didn't even live in Europe. He even went to the Chinaman and start begging up the Chinaman to get Carrasco off for them. You get me? So you're not just begging Europe, you're also begging in Asia. You know what I mean? So they turned this man into a beggar man all of a sudden. Now, he's going into his third window in a few months' time. Now, does he get backed? And if he doesn't get backed, sacking him at the end of his contract because he doesn't make the top four is going to be probably one of the most harshest sacking that I've seen in the Premier League, and that's right up there with Di Matteo after winning the Champions League. So for me, I think he deserves to see his contract out, and he would need backing. If he gets backed and nothing comes off of it, then yeah, I can get behind maybe going for somebody like Allegri if he then becomes available and it feels like he's taking Juventus as far as he could and he wants a new challenge. And if someone like that becomes available, I'll obviously, I'd chuck Emery away for Allegri. I'm a guy like that. If I'm with some chick and she ain't as fit as this next thing that I'm looking at, I'm dashing it, man, and I'm getting the next thing. And that's just me, man, you know what I mean? So if Allegri becomes available, you know what I mean? After them 2 years go, we go for it. So yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. It's all about progression,
Allegri's
isn't it?
leaving all it is if Juve win the Champions League. That's the only way that's happening.
That's what I'm trying to say. They might win it. Who knows? They're in it. You can't win it if you're not in it. So they're in it right now, and while they're in it, they could win it. And if they win it, and it feels, look, I've taken them as far as I can take them. I want a new challenge. It becomes available. I'll chuck Emery in a heartbeat. I ain't even lying about this shit. You know what I mean? So
fair enough. And
I disagree with that. Do you know, the only reason, right? Don't get me wrong. Everyone knows how much I like Allegri. All right, everyone. But the problem is with that.
Do you know one
no,
thing?
No.
Hold on. Before you go on. Do you know one thing Allegri would not accept? Yeah.
I know what he wouldn't accept.
The two windows that Emery said yes to, Allegri would never accept that bullshit. Would never take it from the board. It would demand fucking investment and money. Straight up.
There was a report there was a report of like a couple of months ago that the reason Allegri snubbed us was because of the amount of money available to him.
Funds, yeah.
All right.
That's
the reason why. And besides that, if we get rid of Emery, right, does that kind of speed the transition or the inevitable transition that we're going through, or does it just prolong it?
Well, like I said, Emery said it's 2 years. Emery said it's 2 years, and hopefully by that time, someone like Allegri will become available. That's what I just said. By that time, hopefully there'll be some progress, some building blocks that's been put in place there. But he still needs backing. He needs backing.
Let me just bring Sam in on this point. Sam, in your opinion, because I don't really know what you think about Emery. So, what do you see him as a long-term manager, and how long would you give him?
I think he's got till Christmas, to be honest.
Oh,
what?
I'm being serious.
Go on, Sam. I'm being serious. I was being nice.
I think he's got till Christmas, till people, because we're no better off than we were last year. There's no two ways about it. We're probably a little bit further ahead, but we needed to make the change of the manager. He needed to go, so we brought in another manager, and I think people will either really, really believe in him, or people will start to wobble. I think he's genuinely got till. I think you'll see as well, if he's got this 2-year deal which runs out at the end of next summer. I think you'll see we start to maybe put some feelers out there for potential new managers, sort of like Christmas time, and maybe not back him this time next year. so maybe not give him any money again in January. I think we'll give him whatever what we can afford in the summer. Maybe get rid of Ozil, sell a few players, sell some of the deadwood, and bring in a lot of players. But I genuinely think he's got till Christmas this year to make a real improvement massively. And if that's not happened, and if there's better options out there, I think the club will start looking out. I really do.
Do you not think that just delays the transition process, though, Sam?
I think this is a 3 to 4, maybe to 5 year thing before we are realistically back at the top, challenging for, because of the way we finance things. This is the way we're in a lot. It doesn't matter who the manager is. It's a 5 year plan, or 4 to 5 year plan to get back to the top, because we can only spend a certain amount of money per year, because we are probably the only club in the bloody world that try and do this financial fair play thing. So,
yeah. We're the only people who mention it.
Yeah, we're the only people.
No one else cares about FFP.
No one does. And that Man City's board or owner is now the president of UEFA, or vice president of UEFA. So no doubt that they'll have no sanctions against them and won't be kicked out of the Champions League for breaching it. I just think it's a 4 to 5 year thing. I think the manager will be good enough by the end of this year. If he's not, and he's not made any improvements, then we're still where we are. I think that's when we'll have to start looking at maybe another manager out there. Maybe another young up and coming manager might be up, or maybe, praying to God, Pep Guardiola thinks he can't do any more at Man City and wants a new challenge, or something, a top manager from aboard, get sacked or whatever. But I genuinely think people will start turning on him this time next year. I think he's got 12 months. I genuinely think that.
I kind of agree with all of you, and here's my explanation for that. I think he's a manager that if it was up to me, I'd be like Colin, and I'd show some real kind of time and patience in him, and I'd trust the process. I'd invest in him. I've made this decision. I've seen him get teams like us that don't spend a lot of money at least winning competitions. I would give him three years at least to see what we've got. What I actually think will happen will be what Sam says. I honestly think that if by this Christmas, rightly or wrongly, if Stan is not happy and the fans aren't happy, because the fans not turning up will hurt Stan. And that is basically what he'll judge it on. And because we live in an era where we're already having people saying Emery out now, come the end of the year, that's only going to intensify.
Yeah, but do you think fans not turning up will be down to Emery, or will be down to lack of investment from fans?
No. Let me break it down. So for me, I think that in my honest opinion, and I've always thought this is why from last year I doubted those Allegri rumors so viciously. For me, Stan's ideal manager is Nagelsmann. That's his ideal manager. Just a coach that ain't going to ask too many questions, that's just going to get down with it and just get on with the job and try and get the absolute maximum out of that team. And clearly, if you look at the Bundesliga, that is exactly what this man is doing. He's getting the very best out of that side.
You know what's interesting, Chig, when you say things like that? Who are the last two clubs we've loaned our best young players to?
I was just about to say this to answer Ola's point, because I believe that Stan has no real plans to invest heavily. His grand plan is he can see that the Bundesliga is the place to develop these players. So if he kind of like sweetens the pot a bit and starts targeting the managers that he's looking at as potential people that can train these players, these are the people he's going to keep an eye on. It's not going to cost a lot of money, which, let's be honest, is going to appeal to Stan. You send someone like a Reece Nelson to Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann thinks, well, blimey, this is a really talented player. I wonder what other talented players Arsenal have. Roll on 11 months' time, and things are still not going our way. You know what, Emery? Enough's enough. Fans are complaining. I can't afford another previous manager situation. You're out of there. Bring in Nagelsmann. Job's a good one. He's now working with the young players. Stan hasn't invested too much in the players, and you're good to go, according to him. Please don't misunderstand me. That's not what I would do.
Tig wants Emery out.
Nah.
I'm fucking with you, man.
I am Emery in. I could just see the shit unfolding.
Do you know what, Jake? As you're talking, right? And
that makes sense,
actually. And I'm listening to you, like, going about, the whole Reece Nelson being loaned to Hoffenheim thing, yeah? The more I think about it, what if Arsenal couldn't get the manager that they ideally wanted in the summer, and they thought, oh, Emery is available. He'll do for the short term. Let's get him in, and then we'll pursue our real target in the summer after that.
Yeah.
Let's not forget. Let's not forget. He's got the Stan Kroenke. He has got. Hasn't he got the LA Rams? The manager of the LA Rams is a really young, dynamic,
and there you go.
Forward thinking, energetic. I don't think he ever played professional football or American football, and I think
who does that describe?
Yeah, it all sort of fall into place. But we're only surmising and adding 1 and 1 and getting 3 sort of thing. But it does sort of ring true. It does sort of ring true. He hasn't spent a lot of money on the Rams, barring a bit of investment on some real elder superstars. He's got a really young team together, and then threw a couple of really good, experienced, world-class sort of American football players into the mix. And now they're in the Super Bowl tonight, and I can't wait for that, by the way. I hope they win.
Who, the Rams?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, it's all down to speculation. All we can do is speculate. None of us actually know what the hell's going on behind the scenes. Like, people can speculate and stuff like that, but no one actually knows. If they say they do, they're lying. So
I was lying.
Yeah, no. The only source all it has is rum.
But yeah. All right. Then. Well, that's pretty much it from us. I'm going to get quick predictions from the fellas about the next game. And then I'm going to let people know where they can find them. Thank you to everybody who's currently watching us. Crush that like button. Absolutely destroy it. It helps the show get noticed, and it gives me feedback that you're enjoying what you're watching. So keep crushing that like button. Hit the subscribe button. This is what I do most weekends. Just have people on and talk shit. That's what we do. I hope you're enjoying it. But yeah, so let me get a predictions from you for the Huddersfield game. We're going to have to lick our wounds, and we're going to have to lick it quickly. That's what she said. Colin, let me get your
God damn.
Do you know what? I'm confident. I'm going to go for a 4-1 Arsenal win against Huddersfield.
Okay.
Like,
so you don't think we'll get a clean sheet?
No. But the thing is, right, I think we'll respond against Huddersfield, and based on what I've watched again with them and Chelsea, Huddersfield, they're not a good side. They're not a good side. The mistakes that they were making were schoolboy, and I think the quality that we have, I think we'll punish them. So 4-1.
Okay. Ola?
Right. Did they sign any players in this window?
You should know this already.
I don't think they did. No, they didn't.
No, they signed one from Charlton, I think.
Oh, they signed one from Charlton. Okay, that's the guy that's going to score their goal. Yeah, that's the guy that's going to score their goal.
You know where this is going.
He's the one that's going to score.
But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1 Arsenal. I think we got enough strike force to to get 3 goals out of them today. Really and truly, we should go and take our frustrations out on them next week. So I'm expecting to see that. And yeah, 3-1, and hopefully I can see Gemma Collins eating up some ice on that Strictly Come that ice skating thing. Bro, did you see the way she fell she fell face into the fucking ice fucking skating thing? I was like,
I don't watch the show, but I did.
Oh my day! Did you see that? That was.
I don't watch that garbage, man. I'll be honest with you.
She kicked up a dust on that fucking ice.
Only because I cannot stand it.
It was funny, man. It was funny. But yeah, 3-1.
All right, and Sam, take us home. Give me your prediction.
I think we will beat them 2-1. I think it'll be a lot tighter than it was. I think I went to the Emirates when we beat them 1-0. Very tight. They'll sit back, won't give us nothing, and we'll wear them down. And I think 2-1. I think I'm going to go for.
Yeah. And what I predict, you have to watch my preview. I'll drop that shit.
You don't give it away for free.
What a cliffhanger. What a fucking cliffhanger.
Eh? Don't give it away for free, man.
I don't give that shit away for free. So yeah, check out my preview next week, and I'll let you know what my prediction is for that. But thank you, fellas. Thank you for coming on. Colin, thank you for coming on last minute. It was a very, very last minute call up. So
hey man, it's been a minute, you know what I mean? Like
you're doing well. The people in the chat responded well to you, so thank you guys.
As well they should, bruv. Come on.
Wait, because this is the part where I let people know where they can find you. Colin, what is going on with you and your show? What's going on?
All right. Well,
because they keep asking me.
Well, I've explained this several times, but what the hell? I'll explain it for our final time. Much Arsenal's just going on. It's just on a leave of absence. That's all it is. I'm working full time now. I don't have as much time to, make good content as much as I would have liked to. And you guys know me. Like, if it's not good, I'm not gonna bother. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I don't feel like putting out, shit content out. So it is what it is. But if you want my opinion on anything, you know my Twitter @cmuch91. So deal with that. Yeah.
There you go. And the comments will be and the link will be in the description below. In answer to Smith Mahita, me and Ola will no doubt do a show, probably on Patreon, to comment on the Joshua Smith match. So tune into that one, and we'll let you know. But Ola, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Black Scorpion 3 on Twitter, Black Scorpion 3 on Instagram. The same handle is Black without the C. Come hang out there, engage with man. You know what I mean? I talk football and combat sports. Basically, no politics, none of that bullshit. Just straight football, combat sports. That's what I do on my Twitter. So yeah, come check man out, and we can talk about things.
And he does talk that combat sport. Every time I see a story, I immediately tag him. So yeah. And Sam, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, Hero of Football. They can find me on Twitter.
There you go. And all the links will be in the description below if you're watching live. And if you're watching this on the playback, just look below. It'll be there. And you can follow me on Twitter @ColossalChig. That's CHIG. You can follow me on Instagram, Guna_Eagle_I1. And follow me on Patreon. Putting lots and lots and lots of stuff together. And it's all going on. It's going to be a big dump on Patreon of just material and stuff that I hope you'll enjoy and like. And thank you to the contribution, brilliant contribution to the show in the super chat. Thank you very much, Isu. Oh gosh, brother, I know you're Nigerian. I can't pronounce that. Ola, can you pronounce that for me and disgrace me as a Nigerian?
It's Isheun Ifeoluwa Akikunbe. That's his name.
Soon fellow.
No, Isheun Ifeoluwa Akikunle.
Okay.
That's his
So
name.
my
That's how you call
mum's
his name.
already going to
My
be
tribe.
shaking her head that I can't say this name. So we're going to leave that there.
Shout out, brother.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Isuan, for the contribution. I appreciate it. And we're out of here, people, because we're tired. So take care. Peace.